Hey viewers, my name's Cara. I have lots of news and updates for you. Things are starting to look a little different around here. Firstly, if you haven't yet seen my PaganaCon vlog from last month, go check that out. If you haven't seen it, you might have missed the news that I got new glasses. They're pretty cool. Also, apologies for the ring light glare. My old glasses frames were not as big as this, so the ring light glare was actually out of range. These are bigger, so we'll adjust as we move forward. But for this video, that is not the biggest news. I do want to talk about a couple of different things. One of the things I'm going to talk about later is that I am offering readings again online and more stuff. The link is in the description to book a reading or other stuff, and I will talk about that later in the video. But if you're already super excited about that, you want to go click that link and start looking at that while I talk, totally go do that. Big news I want to start with, though, really for now, is the Patreon. We are having some changes to the Patreon as of the month of May, or actually by the time this video goes up, so not the beginning of May. But by the time this video goes up, I will be changing over my Patreon from a per creation setup, which it has been on for years since I started using Patreon, to a monthly setup. The different tier amounts that you can pledge will be changing a little bit, but remember, you can always set your own amount for a pledge regardless of what the milestones for the different tiers actually are. But now, instead of having to do the math of how much per post, per creation, up to a personal maximum that you were able to set, such as $5 per creation up to $20 a month, so that'll cover 4 creations that Cara posts. Instead of having to do all of that, now you can just choose a flat amount for the month as a whole. So if previously you were someone who pledged $5 per creation up to $20 a month, now you can just pledge $20 for the month, and that'll actually put you at a higher tier. Or if you were a $1 per creation up to $5 a month, you can pledge $5 a month, and then you'd be at the $5 tier, and so on. So it just makes it a little bit easier. And I've heard from some people that this is going to make their monthly budgeting a lot easier because it won't fluctuate based on the number of things I do or don't post on there. It's just a flat amount for access to all the exclusive goodies on my Patreon for the entire month. And the monthly setup is charged at the beginning of each month for the month upcoming. So when you join the Patreon, if you're not already on there, you will pay the amount that you've decided to pledge when you join, and then on the first of every month after that fact, as long as you remain an ongoing supporter. Similarly, if you're already a patron, if you upgrade your pledge amount, that will take effect at the time that you do that, and then it will just be automatically applied on the first of each month following. If you ever downgrade, if you go to a lower amount, no change will occur. You're already paid for the month that you made that change, but it will update for the subsequent months. So it just feels really easy. I think this is going to be a great change. The rewards that I offer for the different tiers will also be changing. But perhaps the biggest change going on with that right now is that I'm actually only going to be focusing on the basic rewards that are going to be available and accessible by all patrons, regardless of the amount that you pledge. For now, I'm going to start by focusing only on a few basic things for everybody. I try to do too much, and then I get overwhelmed, and then I'm not able to sustain any of it, let alone all of it. So for now, I'm going to focus on those foundational things that I want to be a mainstay of Patreon exclusive access. Not all of what I like to share with patrons will be an every single month kind of thing, but when it comes around, it'll be accessible to everybody. That's the kind of stuff I want to focus on to start with for now. Even if your pledge amount is not an official tier amount, like for example, if I'm going to make my first tier at $3, you can still pledge $1 or $2 a month if you want to. You can type that in separately. So even if you are not part of an official tier, I mark those posts as visible to all patrons rather than from the bottom tier up. So because I mark them as all patrons, you will still be able to see everything that is accessible to all patrons, even if you are actually choosing to do below that lowest tier. So it's still technically a sliding scale. You can always choose whatever amount you want. Later on, after I have gotten those basic foundational things situated and integrated into my schedule in a way that feels sustainable for me, meaning that I can sustain that over time, then I can start adding on more and different things, and possibly different things for different tier levels. For right now, for example, one thing that is different that I will keep this way is that my upper 2 tiers, the earth and spirit level tiers, get their names in the descriptions of my videos. So that is something that the earth and spirit tier have that the air, fire, and water tiers do not. So that's one way that I have added an additional thing for the upper 2. I'm going to keep that. So stuff like that. I might be grouping things a little bit differently instead of doing 5 different sets of rewards for right now. Just to keep it simple for myself, I'm going to focus on that stuff that's for everybody, but I still have at least that one extra that's for the upper 2 tiers for now. And then we'll see where it goes from here. So I really do think this is going to be a much better experience overall for all of you and for me, especially since, like I said, it's not going to depend anymore on how much I do or don't get done. That's going to be less stressful for me. It's going to be less confusing for you because it's just always going to be a flat rate for monthly access. And that does include access to a connected Discord server, which I highly recommend. Another thing that is different for every single tier is that you do get your name in a different color in the Discord server that matches the element of the tier that you sign up with. So that's an extra bit of fun. The link to my Patreon is always in the description of my videos. I thank you very much in advance for checking it out and even considering supporting that way. Of course, if you are already one of my Patreon supporters, I thank you repeatedly all of the time. You make this possible. I love you so much. Moving on to the other big update, readings and more. I have not offered online tarot or oracle readings in a while, even before 2020. I was dealing with a lot. I was overwhelmed. I could not sustain doing readings. So I decided not to offer them for a while. I didn't know how long, but it has ended up being years. And I'm doing them again now. Several people have messaged me over the last couple years wondering if I was still doing them. I was taking a break. They are back, but in a new and, I hope, improved way. So I used to offer readings via email. I would type them out and send them back to you with a picture. Well, it turns out that was taking a lot of time. You all know how long it takes for me to just say things in a video. Typing things takes longer. So I was spending hours on every single reading, and compared to the amount that I was charging, I was wasting my own time. But I love the in-depth detail that I go into and that value that I provide when I do readings. So how do I keep that, but literally help make it worth my time, the time that I am spending? Time them. Literally get a timer and time them. Okay. But typing still takes longer than just speaking it out loud, so live readings. Yes, for the first time ever online, I am offering readings as a live chat. You can now check out a calendar, take a look at my available dates and times, and book a time that works for you. Right now, I'm starting with just 30 and 45-minute options. Again, starting with something that feels simple and doable. We'll talk about expanding to different options in the future, but that is what we are starting with for now. And yes, I am literally going to time myself. You all know how I tend to ramble. And this way we'll be able to have a conversation too, so it'll be more like doing an in-person face-to-face reading, only it's on Zoom. And you don't have to have Zoom in order to use it. You just have to click the link and it will give you access. And then, as long as I'm offering readings and I have this cute little booking page that I can use to let people schedule times for whatever I want to offer, I decided to add another type of offering that's not a reading. So now you can also book a time to chat with me. Chat about what? Well, here's how I'm thinking about it. If it's something that you would DM me a question about, it can be in a live chat. Maybe you want some personalized advice for your spiritual path. The kind of information I've been making videos about for years, but less general, more personalized to you, your path, your situation. Maybe you want advice about YouTube content creation, tips and tricks for editing, or you want to brainstorm ideas about what you could start making videos about related to your path. I had a brief conversation with someone at PaganaCon about their path and answered some questions that they had about, like, well, here's my path, what would I even talk about? And there was so much good stuff. Like, we could have kept talking about that for hours. So I know that that is one great example of what these chat sessions could be used for. So this could be a really cool option for some of you who are thinking about vlogging about your personal spiritual path, but you're kind of stuck because you're like, what would I even talk about? Let's talk about it. Or maybe you want advice on how to reach out to community in your area, or you just want my help doing it. I will literally sit there and suggest search terms for you to plug into Google if you want. Oh, that didn't work? Try this. That's the kind of stuff that I've been helping people with all of this time, but I don't have the time to really focus on giving all of that detailed help anymore when I need to focus on things that are supporting me financially and enabling me to sustain that work. So this is a great option. If you're just like, I don't know how to search for things, I think that's the case for a lot of people. I will help you with that. I just won't do all the work for you because I am interested in helping you learn how to do that research for yourself. On a related note, maybe you've been looking at some resources and you just want my opinion on whether or not they're any good. This is probably the most common question I get from people online or at the museum. Some people are not sure what to search for or how to search because they don't have the vocabulary yet to know what to search for. But some people are searching and are finding things, but are just questioning, can I trust this resource? Is it good? Is there a better one out there? Is there more along these same lines? I can help you with that too. We can look at those kinds of things together. Are you planning a ritual for yourself or for a group and want to run it by me for ideas or concerns? Awesome, let's talk about that. I've been part of many rituals for both large and small groups, public and private, and I've designed many a solitary ritual for myself. I could help you do the same thing. I would be happy to share my experience in both having attended many different rituals, which I definitely have opinions about what could be done better in those situations, and somebody who has designed rituals myself and seen them go great or less than great. Why not learn from my experience? Have you read any good witchy books lately that you would like to discuss with someone? We can chat about it over some tea on a live call. I can't guarantee that I will have read the book you want to talk about. If I have, so much the better. But if I haven't, I will absolutely listen to you talk about the book and chat with you about the topics, subject areas that it covers, and chat about any questions or thought processes that reading the book brought up for you. And if you want book recommendations about a specific thing, you know I'm good for that. If you want to ask me more about my path, my tradition, the reclaiming tradition of witchcraft, or about working with Unitarian Universalist churches as a pagan witch, we can chat about any of those things too. That is really just a short list of ideas, but it's already painting the picture. Chat time, no tarot or oracle cards necessary. So that about covers it for news and updates as of right now. And please don't forget that you can share this stuff with other people too and help me out that way. Maybe you don't want a reading right now, but you know some people who would like to get a reading and they'd like a recommendation from you about somebody you like to do their reading. Maybe you don't have any spiritual questions you'd like to mull over with me in a live chat, but maybe you know somebody who does. Or maybe you don't even know that they want that, but they're following you on other social media. So please pass a recommendation on to your friends, family, or your followers. I very much, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate the support. Word of mouth recommendations are amazing. Liking and sharing on your social media is awesome as well. Helps boost what I'm doing, lets other people see it, helps me out just as much. Never underestimate that kind of help. So thank you so much for watching and or listening to this video. I will see you next time, and until then, don't forget to be awesome, blessed be, and goodbye.